In a move that I honestly did not expect out of Elizabeth Warren, but I completely welcome, she called out Joe Biden's corruption. Watch.
Our disagreement is a matter of public record. At a time when the biggest financial institutions in this country were trying to put the squeeze on millions of hardworking families who were in bankruptcy because of medical problems, job losses, divorce, and death in the family, there was nobody to stand up for them. I got in that fight because they just didn't have anyone. And Joe Biden was on the side of the credit card companies. It's all a matter of public record.
Damn. Now, this is unexpected from Elizabeth Warren. This is not what she's usually done with Democrats. I mean, even as recent as last week when she was in a CNN town hall, when she was asked how she would do things differently than Barack Obama, she couldn't manage to say anything negative about Barack Obama or his strategy. So I kind of expected her to sort of sit back and not really be on the offensive. But here she is directly going after Joe Biden's ties to credit card companies. And I think because she is lower down in the polls right now, it sort of frees her up in her ability to have these sorts of attacks on other candidates. Because if she was leading, I think it would be too much of a risk for her to try and start, beef with anybody else on in the primary. But because she is lower down in the ranks right now, having this kind of attack on a candidate like Joe Biden, who is just completely corrupted, as I've shown in another video, yeah, this is the right move. Now, I also want to share Warren's fundraising email, which also touches on this. Quote, in the first 24 hours of his presidential campaign, welcome to the race, Joe Biden raised $6.3 million, Warren wrote. How did Joe Biden raise so much money in one day? Well, it helps that he hosted a swanky private fundraiser for wealthy donors at the home of the guy who runs Comcast's lobbying shop. Elizabeth is building a grassroots movement without holding any big money private fundraisers where you can only talk to her if you write a big check first, without taking a dime from federally registered lobbyists or PACs of any kind. It's the right thing to do. So this is the strategy that, or not even just strategy, but this is the approach that Warren and and Bernie as well are taking to this primary. They are not accepting or they're not having any private fundraisers. They aren't accepting any corporate money. They are simply relying on individual donors. Now, in Warren's case, she has said that she is only doing this for the primary, so that if she actually wins the nomination, she will open herself up to money from, I guess, private fundraisers, which I don't agree with. Bernie, though, appears to be just completely funded by individual donors. Even if he wins the primary, he'll still only rely on individual donors and not have these private fundraisers. I mean, Bernie has never had these private fundraisers. So for Bernie, it's really not a surprise at all. Now, I also want to show you how Biden's numbers break down here, because they don't really add up. So when we actually look at the individual donors within the first 24 hours that have given to each of these campaigns, Bernie had the by far the most individual donors in the first 24 hours at 223,000. Biden is down at number 3 with only 96,000. So Bernie has had more than double the amount of individual donors that Biden had in the first 24 hours. Yet Biden was able to raise $6.3 million. Now, other people have tried to break down the numbers and they've shown that there is money that Biden has in that 6.3 million that isn't explained. So he raised about 4.4 million from individual donations. Then the campaign did admit to raising $700,000 from big donor fundraisers in that major fundraiser he had with Comcast. But then there's other money missing, and no one knows where it came from. So it's not clear if that's money meant for the general election, which is a strategy that Beto O'Rourke and a few other candidates did that I covered in a video recently, or if it's coming from corporate PACs, or it's really unclear where that missing money is coming from, because it's about $1 million. It allows Biden to say that he raised more than Bernie Sanders did, but Biden hasn't explained where that money has come from. So it seems manufactured in a way to say, oh, Biden raised the most in the first 24 hours. When really, if we break down the numbers and see where that money came from, I don't think it'll be as impressive as it seems on the face of it. But regardless, I'm glad that Warren is calling out Biden's corruption here, and I hope that she continues doing this.